Can't be contained.
That's what I'm talking about.
Carl, thank you so much for joining us here on the Can't Be Contained podcast. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Samantha, it's super nice to meet you. And I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have heard about Beachbody, which is now BODi, forever. I think the company's been going for 25 years now or something like that?
Yeah, 25 years.
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, congratulations. That's so amazing.
It's funny. I don't see it that way. I don't live it or experience it that way, because literally, I mean, it's certainly been a wild ride for 25 years, and it's gone through many lives, if you will. But I have big ambitions for it, and have had big ambitions really since we realized that we were onto something. And so far, it hasn't gotten close to being the brand leader that I expect it to be, and I do fully expect it to be. But it doesn't feel like I'm sitting on top of a hill of success. It feels like we've got a lot of work to do and an important mission in the world.
And I think there's really a beauty in that. And I think that's what really marks the characteristic of a powerful CEO and entrepreneur, of like the grand vision of what we're here to create, you know? And I think like just you saying that speaks to the vision of what you have for this and the grandiose goals that you know that you're going to achieve, which is why you've been in business for 25 years, because you have this deep why, this amazing vision. And it's also a mission-driven business to bring, you know, health and wellness to people all around the world while making people have more money. So that's great too.
Yeah, well, you know, you look at the situation, you've got massive obesity problem that, and it's not that's not a judgmental statement. It's a statement of lifestyle disease, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, hypertension, and so on, that is absolutely robbing people, like thieving them of the quality of life that they could enjoy for an extra few decades of their life span, with just the minimal amount of effort. And I don't like fitness any more than the next guy that can't stand it, or woman. It's not, I've got other things to do with my time, but I also know if I don't pursue it, it's going to catch up with me, and it's going to rob me of the things that I really expect from life. So I think that's our role in the world, is to be able to help facilitate a better quality of life, or what we call a healthy, fulfilling life. And that is what drives us. Obviously, we wanted to be a financially stable and profitable company, but to what end? And that end is helping serve this acute problem that so far no brand, no company has been able to fully address. And that's why it's such a massive opportunity for us.
So when you think of the vision and you feel into the vision of what you're creating and what you desire BODi to be one day, can you let us in on that vision a little bit?
Well, if I'm being bold and unvarnished, I would say there is no leading brand in health and wellness. And I would call that, we've termed that health esteem, combination of self-esteem and overall well-being. So in terms of being the leading brand in health esteem and quality of life that comes from doing just the fundamentals of exercise and conscious eating. It doesn't have to be crazy, but it can just be a little bit more conscious. One less slice of pizza, one, maybe a couple nights a week with no alcohol. Just these slight changes that will change everything. And we want to be the brand, the BODi brand, BODi, that represents that. And it's actually quite shocking that in this day and age, there is no brand that that represents that. Obviously, you can think of Nike, or you can think of, Planet Fitness or Peloton, big brands, but none that I think have a comprehensive view of really helping somebody achieve their goals from a fitness, nutrition, and mindset perspective. And that's what BODi aims to be.
Why the rebrand? Why did you guys go from Beachbody to BODi?
Yeah, it's a great question. It was an acronym for the longest time: Beachbody On Demand Interactive, and frankly, I fell in love with it. First off, to have a 4-letter URL, BODi.com, is kind of makes you feel like you're big time. But Beachbody has developed a connotation over time. It didn't really have it. It was just sort of a fun, gratuitous name 25 years ago, like Beachbody. That sounds fun: sunshine, beach, ocean, bathing suits. It turned into a term of judgment. You either have a beach body or you don't have a beach body, and comparison, and that began to limit the business and create sort of scrutiny that some people weren't welcome. And I've got family members that you would say in the sense of what you would call a beach body, that they wouldn't feel welcome at the company. And I don't want family members to feel unwelcome in my own company. I want everybody to feel like they are worthy of a beach body, right? That being comfortable enough in your own skin and feeling good about yourself, again, health esteem, that should be an entitlement. And so we just made this difficult decision to pivot to the term BODi, and really, it's the underlying brands that are the most important thing anyway. The 21-day fixes, 80-day obsession, insanity, P90X, Shakeology. Like, these are the things that help people get results. The umbrella brand is kind of besides the point, because the umbrella brand doesn't affect anybody's life. It's their engagement with a program. So anyway, so that's why we did it. We wanted to take the stigma out of the name and make sure that people understood that everybody's welcome here, and it's not about an outcome that has a particular look in the mirror, but a way you feel go about life.
I love that. A lot of our listeners are health entrepreneurs, health business owners, a lot of people in the health and wellness space, as well as the personal development and spiritual development space. And I'd love to double click into your career as being the CEO of this company for 25 years. What would you say are the 3 qualities that you embody, that you be every single day, that have been able to handle the ups and downs of the economy, handle the ups and downs of, whether it's public scrutiny or whether it's, team members or culture or whatever it is? What are those 3 fundamental cornerstones that you practice and embody every single day to be able to withhold everything that you're building?
Well, I never thought about it as 3 things, but let me take a shot. The first thing is literally, and I would say this to any entrepreneur of any type, that first thing is why. If you don't have that clarity on why, when it gets hard, and it's going to get hard, because if it's not hard, you're probably in a space where there's very little opportunity, because that means everybody else has figured it out, or you're a genius, and so good for you. But if it's hard, if there's a riddle that you're trying to solve, you're going to need to be firmly rooted in why are you doing this, and most likely it's got to transcend the financial upside to really be a strong why, so that you can continue to persevere and evolve and create even when you've got financial success, because that's when you can really change the world, as they say, as Steve Jobs would say, make a dent in the universe. So know your why, and don't take for granted that why is going to remain on your dashboard in your field of view unless you proactively reinforce it.
Love that.
The other thing that I would say is never allow victim mentality to creep into your mindset. And
so
I read a lot. I love to read biographies, business books, business biographies, less advice and more. I like to read what people did. And the one common theme that I read about great leaders is nobody is the primary reason for success, and nobody is the primary reason for failure. So everybody takes responsibility, 100% accountability for the outcome, and you try to avoid finger pointing. You still need to do forensics on why things didn't go the way you expected, but you don't want to do finger pointing, which finger pointing means you are not accepting responsibility, and that becomes toxicity. So, and by the way, I also think that the reason I said it that way, avoiding the victim trap, is when things are difficult, if you get into a victim trap to soothe yourself, to soothe your feelings, you're undermining your grit to fight through the fire, and instead wasting your energy on complaining and trying to double down on that victim mindset. So, all right, so that's 2.
That's great. That's a powerful one. I'm so glad that you said that, because you're right. That can sneak in when there's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of resistance. So I love that you named that.
Yeah. And so I don't know that I have a handy third one, but I would say that I'll talk about sort of a daily practice that I've got.
Cool.
Before I go to sleep every night, I'll take a bit of an inventory of the day and proactively make sure that my mindset shifts to gratitude. And I'll literally go through a list. You could call it a prayer, I suppose, but it's a mindset shift to make sure that I'm going to sleep with crazy gratitude that's very easy to take for granted. Certain things, just, the fact that I've got a car that I can plug into my wall and it's charged up, like these little things that are easy to take for granted now that I've got it. But I've got a car that plugs into the wall. Like, how did I get that? This Jetsons stuff. So I proactively, I make it a habit to go to sleep with gratitude. Also changes my quality of sleep, quite honestly, because I have less anxiety. And then before I let my feet touch the floor in the morning, I make sure that I focus on, I literally will keep myself in bed to think about what are the most important 2 or 3 things that I need to start the day to achieve, so that I don't get sucked into mindless little things. I don't get sucked into social media and reacting to whatever got posted there, because it can be so mean. And instead, I'm proactive. I'm owning the day, which goes back into I'm not going to be a victim, and goes back into this is why I'm waking up in the first place. So those are my 3 tips, Samantha. I hope that helps.
That is so good. That is so good. It's those repeatable things that we do every single day that, it's the James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, if you've read that. It's like doing the same thing every single day. And over time, it's like, wow, that momentum begins to build, that energy begins to build. And then we're in a completely different mindset and a completely different energy. And that I love that evening practice and that morning practice, because one of the philosophies that I use in my world, being a CEO and building companies, is energy is everything, and if I really believe oftentimes the success of companies comes down to the psychology and the energy of the leader. And so those things, doing that every single day, it's just amazing.
Well,
amazing.
Look, as a leader, I need people that feel like they're a part of something special, particularly when economically it's challenging, which it for sure is right now for BODi. Like we've got to address the circumstances of the difficulty of influencing people to start healthy behaviors in a world that is enamored of gratification and or magic pills. And so we've got to all be aligned and enthusiastic about what it means, what it could mean to win at this. So like the company, we have a Slack channel that celebrates health esteem. When we see a customer celebrate it, we'll celebrate it with them in our corporate
So
Slack.
good.
Like these are the individual stories. When you see somebody overcome something, or get news back that they're navigating their way away from type 2 diabetes when it was a foregone conclusion, or somebody managed to help their teenager choose healthier habits when they were depressed, and like all these things. We see these like thousands of these a month, and that's what makes this a great place to work, and a company that I think will not fail, because I'm surrounded by people that won't let it fail. And like, we don't have the demeanor here that we can succeed. We have the demeanor that we will succeed, and that's a completely different thing. And that's what makes it a great place to work. And I'm lucky to be surrounded by people like that, and they help me have this sort of sensibility that is emphasize what we're doing and the importance of what we're doing, and not get sucked into the drama of the day to day.
So let's double click into that a little bit, because it is present from a lot of business owners right now as we're navigating just different economic times. So as a health and wellness company that is navigating this financial climate, what are some of the decisions that you're making for the future and for the present moment? And is there any shifts or pivots that you're needing to make right now in order to just create more sustainability within the company?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm probably the most excited about. The company has done billions of dollars of sales, built on the success of its programs. So again, I referenced P90X, 21-day fix, and so on. And that's because it was appealing to this mass of people who just don't have the confidence that they're going to walk into a gym and be consistent, like join that gym, and then they're going to go back and they're going to figure it out. And they just know that they're going to quit, or even if they were to go to YouTube and find free workouts, like it's just going to wear out, and their normal patterns are going to win. And so these programs that we create and have created over 25 years help people break it down from trying to create a lifelong new habit and behavior, and just say, I just want to try to succeed with this for the next 21 days or the next 30 days. If I can just put that consistency together, I'm going to lose that 10 to 15 pounds. And I'm going to layer it in, fitness with nutrition program. Maybe I'll drink, we have this health shake, Shakeology, that helps people make breakfast the healthiest meal of the day. So what I'm excited about is, okay, in 2016, we pivoted to a subscription model, digital, right? We went from DVDs to digital. And what I've come to realize is that subscription is very similar to the gym model. So people signing up for a subscription, particularly contemplating starting this lifestyle, again, they're afraid that their old habits are going to, or the patterns are going to be what win. Yeah. So we lost that attraction of, I'm just going to do this program. So we put technology in place about a month ago that lets people just buy the program they want to do without a subscription, which doesn't really exist in the fitness space anymore, because now everybody's subscription or membership. So, and we have a subscription for the people who make that turn, who adopt this lifestyle, but for the 180 other million people who are just like, what's the one I should do right now? Now we've got that option for them. And I was telling you when we got started, like right now, I'm very excited because like I need this model, because I'm not an easily habitual fitness person. I'll blow it off just like anybody. But if I know I'm in the middle of a project, right? Like, hey, I want to do this for 6 weeks. That's when I'm consistent. So like right now, I'm gearing up for a July 1 start. I'm putting this huge group together of a program that we call BODi Lava. It's launching on June 27th. Not sure when people are going to hear this episode, but June 27th on BODi.com, that's BODi.com, we're launching this program called BODi Lava. Same, spelled the same, BODi, lava. And what this program is, I call it the perfect workout for summer, particularly because it's only 20 minutes a day, no equipment needed. It's a combination of primal moves and power yoga. I did the sample workout today, and it's just scorched me. 20 minutes. And so for 6 weeks, like that is a doable thing. So like I'm on social media. I got, a million subscribers that I'm inviting to like do this with me. And because that's what I need. I need that accountability. And I think other people are like, you know what? I'm going to start this thing. So that's what I'm excited about for summer right now, that people can join us. They don't need to take the whole subscription. They can just get BODi Lava, and they can join me July 1st and see how it goes and commit, make it as an experience, not just for what the outcome might be. I mean, I definitely think you'll lose 10 to 15 pounds. That's what we got in the test groups. But that experience is going to open people up and feel so good that by mid-August, they're going to be like, what just happened? And that is an awesome feeling. And that's what gets me off. I just love that reaction when people are like, I can't believe what just happened to me, what your company enabled, because I didn't have to think of the rest of my life. I just need to get through that 6 weeks.
Totally. It's phenomenal how physicality can have such an impact on our emotionality, on our spirituality, on our ability to relate to each other. And whenever I'm feeling like stagnant or whatever it is, it's like all I need to do is just move my body. And obviously my whole thing is breath work. So I'm always adding breath into my movements because that just like charges the body up even more. But, for a lot of the issues that are happening in our world, depression and anxiety and all the rest of it, mental health stuff, the emphasis on physical health, in the medical system, it's like, well, just take that pill. It's like, no, why don't you just go lift really heavy weights? One of my friends called me the other day and he's like, oh man, I've just been feeling like so low. And I'm like, Mike, what, like how heavy are you lifting right now? He's like, well, I'm not really. And I'm like, dude, like just get into the gym and just lift really heavy weights or like do something with your body. Cause it has such a ability for us to just feel phenomenal and feel alive again.
I think people take for granted, people who are not workout people, if you sort of play it out, like if you just laid in bed and did nothing, comfortable, you will discomfort will find you right there. Discomfort will always find you. And if you want to expand your ability to be comfortable, you need to actually proactively seek discomfort. Isn't that ironic?
It's wild.
Right? So whether it's cold plunging or, being careful with what you put in your mouth, or just having that fortitude to be like, you know what? 4 or 5 days a week, I've got to do something active. And it doesn't mean it needs to be crazy intense. Like sometimes people overcorrect. So you just need to be 20 minutes a day or, 3 days a week, take that walk after dinner or more. Obviously, I'm just talking about the lowest threshold, but you need to create that little bit of discomfort in order to have more comfort in your life. And that's the thing that people get backwards is because fitness, working out is uncomfortable. It's like I don't like the feeling, except I love the feeling when I'm done. And I know people are different. You probably love it. But when I'm done, it's just like, oh, I did that. I showed up for myself.
Yeah.
And that's a really rewarding feeling.
I actually love the whole thing. Maybe I'm a masochist at heart. I don't know, but I love the feeling of being tortured. Like in the gym when I'm like, oh, this is so hard. There's something about that feels so satisfying and so, I don't even know the word. I just I love it so much. And I think because I have a lot of energy and a lot of fire in my system, if I'm not moving my energy and if I'm not doing a lot of physical activity, I just feel stagnant. Like I have to move, I have to push, I have to run, I have to lift.
Yeah.
So I actually love it. That shocks me that you don't like it.
No, it's good for you. You make me angry. I wish I loved it. I really do. But honestly, that's why the company's been around for 25 years. Is if I loved it, I think we'd be creating fitness for people who love fitness. And since I
Yeah.
don't love it, we're creating fitness for people who are like, please help me do this in a way that
Yeah.
does not make me hate it.
Yeah.
And that's what we're good at. And that's why something like Body Lava, like when I did this sample workout today, I think you'll be able to relate. These primal moves, like I'm 60 years old, right? So I got aches in my shoulder when I wake up, my mid back, my knees, and then I do primal moves for 20 minutes. And I walk back upstairs from the basement and I'm like, it's all gone. Like everything feels
Wild,
good
right?
now.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
it's that little like gratification that gets me down there the next morning. And but it's tough. Like I can identify with
Mm.
anybody that struggles, and I'm jealous of anybody like you who
Yeah.
loves it.
Yeah.
I just get angry.
Yeah. Do you guys still have the vertical of your, like all of your Beachbody coaches and body coaches? Is that still a big vertical of the business?
Yeah, it's an important part of the business, and
Mhm.
yeah, we call them team body partners, and
Cool.
we used to call them coaches, but that had, particularly in this environment, it has too much connotation that you've got life
Mhm,
coaches now, and so there's an
mhm,
expectation that there's maybe more expertise than we were expecting. All we wanted to
mhm.
do was give people for the only outlet available to them, that if they were to take their little TV station, which is their Facebook,
Mhm.
their Instagram, their TikTok, and turn that TV station into a megaphone for demonstrating that they are being proactive about their health and wellness. They're drinking the shake, they're watching what they
Mhm.
eat, they're posting sweaty selfies. They are going to influence people to start.
Yeah.
So if they
Mm,
influence people to start, they deserve a share of that revenue. That's how the whole
mm.
thing got created.
Yeah.
And if in influencing people to start and getting that share of the revenue turns those people into a partner, then they deserve a share of that too. And so yeah,
Mhm,
that's still a really important thing. And that actually, I think it helps a lot of people stay consistent with it that wouldn't otherwise, because now they've
mhm,
monetized this behavior. So
mhm.
they're like, I got to do my workout because I'm inviting people to join me with this workout, and that's how I'm
Yeah.
making a little bit of money. So
Yeah.
it's a pretty cool flywheel.
Or tons of money.
Yeah, we
I
have
know
some of
some
those
people
too.
that do it that make like $1 million a year doing that.
Yeah, I wish that was everybody, but look, for some people, it's just a way for them to offset the price of their Shakeology or offset the price of
Mhm.
the subscription, or they just love the feeling of helping people. And then we've got
Yeah.
other people, the rare few that just make it a total career, and they're animals, and they
Yeah.
have the ability to
Yeah.
motivate people to start, and and they
Yeah.
reap the rewards. That's for sure.
Yeah. One of my friends, Kim Fitzgerald, she's like quite high up there, I think, in body,
Yeah,
and has like yeah, she does well with that.
that's awesome.
Yeah, so great, so great. You mentioned you love reading business books and you love hearing about the stories. What are some of your favorite business books or stories that you can tell?
Oof.
Mm.
Well, boy, I mean, I've been reading. I've never really enjoyed fiction.
Mhm,
I'm just too impatient. So,
mhm,
anytime there's a new biography about somebody, Warren Buffett's biography, Steve Jobs' biography, Elon Musk's biography, Bill Gates, like you you realize nobody has had it easy. Like there was just nobody where it just all happened and there was no resistance. And so when times are the most difficult, plugging into those experiences of others, when you go,
mhm.
oh my God, when you read the story of Nike and you realize that Phil Knight, like that company shouldn't exist on
Yeah,
multiple levels. Tesla
yeah.
shouldn't exist. But
Mhm.
somehow this refusal to quit, which would be my fourth point, probably, if you were to
Yeah,
back
yeah.
to the very
That's
first
a great
question, if
one.
there was that
Mhm.
just that one fourth thing,
Mm.
refuse to quit,
Yeah, I love
refuse
that.
to not show up for yourself. And that goes with fitness and healthy eating and all that stuff.
Mm.
Like literally be obstinate and stubborn when everybody's
Mm.
like, you should quit. I remember that happened with P90X. when we first created P90X, it was not a hit right out of the gate. It turned into $1 billion brand, but it took 2 years for us to find the market for P90X. And I remember people around the company saying, what is he doing? Why is he still pursuing this? This is so dumb. We're wasting so much money. And then in 2007, it just took off.
Boom.
But it was this paying attention to the signs. I'm like, wait, the premise still holds. And so we just stayed with it. And eventually, man, it just took off. But if we had quit at any time, imagine, like, billions would have been left on the table. So that's why I read these stories of entrepreneurs. And like, there's a book, The Hard Thing about Hard Things, I think it's called.
Oh, that's one of my favorite books.
They're
The Hard
amazing,
Thing About
right?
Hard Things. It's so good.
And so you're reading this and you're like, oh my God, like every chapter, you should not be in business anymore. And that's when you go, like, I look at my company and I'm like, look at these amazing assets, 134 programs. I've got literally the most carefully sourced and formulated health shake with protein and prebiotics and probiotics and fiber for gut health and vitamins and minerals from greens blends and fruit blends and antioxidants and superfood to help with your immune system and to stop progressive disease. Like, that's what superfoods do. All of that in Shakeology. Like, I get to sell that.
Yeah.
And there's no way this company fails as long as we don't mess it up. So, that's what reading these stories does. You just go, if they can do it, and you just keep creating, avoid victim mentality, and you'll work through it. And that's what it takes.
I love that. I want to go back to something that you said, and I'm just so curious about it. So when P90X was coming out and you were like, let's stay on it. And then boom, it hits in 2007 and becomes $1 billion brand. What were you looking for? Like, what was your mindset when you kept pushing the product, even though the market wasn't responding? And what was it in you that kept searching? And then when it did hit, why did it hit? Like, I'm so curious about that, because I was like obviously younger when that happened, but I remember that whole, like, everyone was talking about it overnight.
Well, it's the whole evolution of that product was kind of interesting because, I recently did a podcast with Tony Horton, who is the trainer in that program. And I was turning 40. So was my co-founder, John Congdon. And we were both like, we had done this program, Power 90, which was a 90-day in-home boot camp. And we got really good results. And we were like, what should we do next? What next? What after Power 90? Do we just do it again? But our body had adapted. So we were sort of at this plateau. We were talking to Tony, and John and I both were like, you know what? I've never had that full 6-pack, that cover of Men's Health magazine kind of look. Like, could I achieve that if I applied myself for 90 days? So we said to Tony and our fitness advisors inside the company, we're like, could we do that in 90 days? And like, that's when they came up with this idea of muscle confusion to help people adapt. And so John and I did the program, and we got results that were so friggin' outrageous. Like, literally, the story that I would tell was, I showed my mom, my parents, my before and after photos in literally 90 days. And my mom said, oh, that's funny. Whose picture did you put your head on? I'm like, what? This is my mother. And I'm like, no, that's me. She lived in Philly. I'm in California, so she wasn't seeing me in person. But like, that's how dramatic it was. So we called it the last hurrah. So turning 40, I'm like, I was a little bit of an athlete in high school, not a great athlete, but enough that I had been in shape at one time, and I didn't want to just turn in my keys. So I wanted it back. And because of our results and the results that we started to see people get when they just applied themselves for 90 days, again, we're not talking about the year, we're not talking about a decade, 90 days. We were like, if people are spending, let's say, $1,500 on a Bowflex or some piece of equipment, what would happen if they just bought this program of DVDs for $120 and applying
Yeah.
themselves. They will get every bit of good results as they will get with any piece of equipment if they just follow this fitness and nutrition program. So that's why we didn't give up on it, because we were seeing the transformations were mind-blowing. And Tony is fantastic. He's hysterical and fun, and you just want to keep going. So, and honestly, Samantha, that's why that program, can you believe it? It still sells today. Now,
I believe it.
Yeah, I mean, part of it might be like, now that I mentioned at the beginning of this, that we are now selling these things, what we call a digital program purchase. So people don't have to subscribe. They used to be at the spend like $200 to subscribe to the platform, and that's how you would get access to P90X. Now you can just buy it. It used to be DVDs for $120. Now people can buy it for $59.95 as a digital program, and they have access to it in the app forever without a subscription. So that's a really good deal. That's maybe one of the reasons we're seeing it sort of come back right now.
Yeah.
But ultimately, people don't want to deal on something that's not going to get them results. They want that outcome, and that program just delivers over and over and over.
Building $1 billion brand is quite something. Doing $1 billion, it's absolutely phenomenal. And what's so inspiring to me is you're like, oh, and we're still going. Like, we're still setting the bar. We're still holding the vision. What is the culture that you create inside of your organization to have everyone aligned with that mission with you?
Well, you share in the upside, I think, with options and long-term incentives. That's one thing. But also, when you're bringing people in, and in the interview process, make sure it's more than a job, or that there's some sort of affinity and there's an understanding for what the objective is. And because that needs to find its way all the way through to every decision in product, in delivery, in customer service, that ultimately what matters is the result that the customer gets and how we serve them. And, nothing's perfect. You're always going to have hangnails on any business at this scale. But if everybody's aligned that we want the customer to have great results, we want to deliver on our promises, and that's just that's a place that feels good to work at. And we're just careful about recruiting people for that and making sure that people remember that. I do, a couple times a month, maybe I'll do what we call an Ask Me Anything, an AMA. And just talk to people about what the goals are, what the projects are that align with those goals, and always be creating and accepting ideas from deeper in the organization where there's some great fertile opportunities bubbling up. So everybody's involved in it. That's a fun job, because we all have limited time here, and how you spend your time with your day matters. So I want it to be more than punching a clock and getting a paycheck, but something that people can feel good about the role we play in the world.
It's so cool. It's so cool. What does it feel like to have the impact that you've had with this company, not only for your team members and staff, but just for the general public who is being able to take your products and improve their life?
I don't know. I'm not a victory lap person. So, I mean, it feels good. I'm confronted with choices every day that could compromise that feeling. So far I've got a 25-year track record of navigating those decisions in a way that I think serves the mission of helping people achieve their goals to lead healthy, fulfilling lives. And I'm a what's next person. So I really, it just sort of bores me to think about how it feels. What feels good is creating something that generates enthusiasm in a whole new group of people. That's why I feel so excited about this BODi Lava program. Is 20 minutes, no equipment. Everybody travels during the summer, so I'm just watching people light up on this idea when they go, oh, wait a minute, that'll sort of be fun. Let me make this a 6-week project, and I can, I can do it on my phone. So if I'm traveling on a vacation, I can do it anywhere. So there's no excuse. Like, I'm going to actually get in better shape during the summer. So that feels good. That's the gratification for me. So, we've got stuff coming at the end of this year that I think could be our most revolutionary products and programs in our history. So we're just not done. So that's what feels good.
Are you going to give us a sneak peek, or are your lips tight?
Well, I don't think we've been closed-lipped. Like, we're working on a women's hormonal balance program.
Nice.
Arm Calabrese is working on it. We haven't given a lot of detail about it, but it is a comprehensive approach: fitness, nutrition, stress reduction. You talked about breath work and some supplementation that can help people. And the testing, because we test everything that we put out, which is also very rare in the business. And the testing of that program, I can honestly say I haven't seen anything like this in 25 years. And so I'm pretty excited to bring that to market, but we got to cross our T's and dot our I's, and we've got doctors on board making sure we're being responsible with everything that we're doing. So come December 2024, I think that's going to be a pretty big revolution for us.
Amazing. Well, as we wrap things up, tell us again where people can find you, where they can opt in to do BODi Lava with you. Yeah. I'm going to do that. That sounds amazing.
Are you really?
100%. I'll do it with you 100%.
I'm counting on this now. Okay.
I promise I will. You got my word.
Okay. So here's what I would say. Now look, it doesn't launch till June 27th. So, we're in what we would call pre-launch right now. So I'll give you a couple ways that people could find out about it. The easiest way is BODipreviews.com. That's BODi previews.com. That's a free layer that we've got. It has 130 workouts, all of them free for people. You just, in exchange for your email address, we unlock all these workouts, and it's basically for people to choose which program is right for them. That's where the free sample for BODi Lava sits. So you can go to BODipreviews.com. There you go. Or people can text me, and I'll give that number. If you text me the word lava, then as we approach the release, I'll send information and links and offers and that kind of stuff. And that's 818-650-4369. 818-650-4369. And then you're in my little community, and we'll support each other and all that stuff. But that would be fun if you did it. I know, again, I did it this morning, and I looked crazy and awkward, and I felt I was like, it was fire. Like, by the time that 20 minutes was done, I was like, that felt like an hour-long workout. But you know what's really cool about it? For anybody listening who's like, I don't like fitness that much, there's something so gratifying when you put on a video and you see that 20 minutes turn immediately to 19 minutes and count down. You're like, oh, I'm almost done. And it goes like that and feels great. And 6 weeks of that, 5 days a week, I think is going to be pretty cool.
Well, I got a wedding coming up, so this is perfect timing.
Oh, you getting married?
Yeah.
Oh, that's very exciting. I think this is the perfect pre-wedding prep workout.
There we go. Let's do it. I don't do a ton of cardio. I'm just big into lifting, but like it's gonna be a good time.
Well, that's why it's gonna be so good for you, because you got all these joints that are asking for a little attention, and like you want to. This is like, I'm not a stretcher. I don't like to stretch. Like, I'll mix cardio in, but this is for 6 weeks is going to put it all together: strength, cardio, and flexibility, mobility, and agility. Like, you're going to come out of this at a whole new level of athletic performance that is going to make you stronger. You're going to be blown away. We saw in our test groups, you will be blown away at your strength gains when you go back to picking up dumbbells and barbells 6 weeks later. So I hope you do it for real.
Amazing. No, I'm committed. Let's do it. Carl, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you for sharing all your business advice with us and what it takes to build $1 billion brand. And it's been cool to watch you from the sidelines, and I'm glad we are connected now.
Well, so me too. I appreciate your time, Samantha, and I appreciate what you do. So thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Take care.
Can't be contained.